before I started I am nowhere near ready for my Facebook stuff. So you're gonna come with me as I fix this. So yeah, like I said, today is, what is the best study guides? Because I see this quite often. What's the best one? And I just want to go over it. What is the best study guide for the written exams? So you don't, I run it on there so that way, kind of funny. Pass your written. And I would say this part is probably the hardest part of the entire process because it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of thousand between the power plant and the airframe. It's a lot of questions. And let's see. Okay. All right, so going on live here in a minute. All right, thank you for being patient with me while I do this. All right, cool. So like I said, today we're gonna talk about what is the best study guide for your written exams. Okay, I see this quite often and I wanna talk about it. What we use, just from my own experience, there's people have different experiences, but I'm gonna tell you my experience because we tried to provide the most, we tried them all. We tried AC Tech, Prep Guys, Sky Prep, preps. We tried ASAs. We tried ASA Desktop. The desktop I like the most, but not. I wish they would communicate with the phone prep, but they don't. So it's kind of two different systems, right? We tried books, we tried, highlighting and stuff like that. And for the test itself, is that what we would do is we would study through the app and then document it on a piece of paper as each section that you go through. So why do we do that? Well, I like the prep because that's what people are used to. People are used to their phones, looking through their phones and looking at just navigating through their phones. The downside of that was the app or was the distractions. But if you put it on do not disturb, then you are a killer on that thing. You can get through so much of your study material. We tried iPads that don't have, it's just already installed. You can do it offline. You don't have to worry about distractions on social media. So we saw that as the most beneficial because you weren't surfing through it, you weren't getting notifications and stuff like that. And that was super helpful. We would use the ASA app, which at the time was super helpful. Now we're working on the airman test, which is also great, and it helps you at the same time know what your outcomes are, your results are, because that's what's important. Once you go through a section, you want to know what your results are. You want to know if you passed or failed, what's your progress like, because that helps you study more efficiently. And when you document it, then you become a little more efficient. Chantel, hello, hola, okay, cool. This getting through this material is gonna, because it's a lot of material that it becomes very hard. I've seen grown men been in 20 years cry over these exams. And I know that I'm going to scare you with this stuff, but no test is no, like you can read through the whole 883. Everybody will say, all the academia would say, oh, you should just read the 8083s, learn everything you should know. No, because you're gonna forget how it's structured in the questions and the answers are. There's a certain way they're gonna be structured. So 8083 is not gonna be word for word, and maybe you already read through that freaking large book. It's not gonna help you. I mean, yeah, it would help you to a certain extent, um, but if you're trying to get in there and get out, you don't have time to be reading that whole big old book. So so we help you get connected with on the ASA app or the Airman Test app, which we have for free on our online prep. If you go to school.com forward slash military dash maintainers, and the school is spelled SKOOL.com /military dash maintainers, and on there it's free, just letting you know. Okay, anyways, going back to it is a lot of work, and if I can help you just get rid of any distractions, any BS that's going on in your life, and you just focus on that, and then that's the only job you are working on, then you're gonna be successful. If you just follow the simple rules, study, document, and then just improve what you will after you study a couple times, and you're gonna move on, and you're gonna pass. So what do I think, which exam is the hardest one? And I would say the hardest exam, the writtens, is going to be the power plant. Power plant is tough. And guess what? I already tested it out to see if, hey, maybe if you did the power plant out front, get the hard stuff out of the way, or do it later or in the middle, we found out that later on is a little there's improvement if I save the power plant towards the end. Why? Because you easily pass the general, you easily pass the airframe, and then you go into power plant, a little more motivated, little momentum, and you pass it. So we noticed that taking your power plant at the end helps, even though it's brutal, but you get it done because you've already passed everything. And guess what? When you take your general and your airframe, a lot of the material is the same stuff you're going to be reading. A lot of it. Okay? So, those are the hacks to studying. There was one earlier today about, what's some tips to study. Document your progress. So let's say you got through all the sections and you got 30s in them. All right, go through it again. Then you get 50s and 60s, which I'm pretty sure you're gonna get higher. But once you go through these sections 2 or 3 times, you're gonna be acing them by the 4th time. So just go through it. It takes some time because there's a lot of questions, but you're going to get better. You're going to improve, and you document it would make you more efficient, and it also helps you to know where you stand, and you're not doing stuff over and over and over. And number 2 is, if you have an instructor like myself, or somebody is keeping an eye on your shit, then we will know if you're ready to go. And it's funny because I've had students in the past, sometimes I take them out to lunch after they pass, or to dinner after they pass, and these guys would say, "Hey, I got a confession to make to you." I was like, "Oh shit, what's up?" And they're like, and he was a good friend too. They went through my course. He was like, "I actually didn't study too much of my power plant, not all of it like you instructed." I was like, I felt I had good grip of it, and I just wanted to see how I do. And I feel like a lot of the people who fail, a test, that's what they do. they just pencil whip it, because that's what he did. He pencil whipped it. He pencil whipped it, and then he took it to test. Against, you know, my, or just not being honest. But luckily he passed, and you know, yeah, there, the third tip on all this is just really just recognizing the questions and answers, really, because we've helped guys who come from Mexico, who got guys who come from Thailand or for the Philippines, right? They come in and knock it out. Why? And it's so funny because we had a lot of Latinos come into my course one time. One cohort was all Latinos, working for an MRO up north in Marina, Arizona, and I purposely, not that I'm the best, but purposely didn't speak to them in English or in Spanish. I was like, and Mexicans that I know of, they'll say that type of person is a no sé type of guy. No sé is saying you don't know type of person. So I acted like I was that type of guy and didn't know anything about Spanish. And it wasn't towards the end of the course and it was funny because they had slipped. I said something in Spanish, and then they're like, "What the fuck? You know Spanish, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Yeah." Because I learned from, expats who are teaching, English and around the country. The number one thing is that they want you to be, immersed into a language, forcing yourself to speak it. And when you get there, you'll know, it helps you learn whatever you gotta learn. In this case, the material. And these guys passed, even though they barely even knew English. So I know that if you just focus on recognizing the questions and answers and just beating your head over this material, that you're going to succeed. And you don't need to know nothing else. You don't even need really to understand anything. And maybe that's why some schools do it, right? Some schools do this where they just toss you a book and it's just like, hey, read this, highlight it, erase the wrong answer so you don't see it. And that's good and all to a certain point, but we also help you with lectures because you do understand it. And so don't make it more complicated than what it is when you're studying this stuff, because when you're trying to understand and you're going through this YouTube rabbit hole of trying to understand stuff, like that's good for maybe like 10 minutes, but don't spend a whole day thinking. Don't do that, because you're gonna waste time and your test is tomorrow. And that's if you go through a prep school, right? However, you're gonna confuse yourself. Just if your mission is just to get through an exam, questions and answers, that's it. Recognize that, and on top of that, know the basics, know the concepts. That's it. That's all you know. You're gonna be good. Okay, but you gotta put in the time. So my girlfriend bought this wine it's out of a box, and it's kind of, it's okay. So, all right. Those are the big secrets. Put in the time, document it, and don't think too much about it, because you're gonna get out in the field, and you're going to learn everything you need to know. A lot of this material you probably will never see. That's one of the things that people tell me. I was like, I'm never going to see this. I don't remember anything. And it's kind of like military guys. Whatever they learn in tech school, they don't remember too much of it. I had to go back and see what the material was, what the curriculum was. And you get too hung up on, wanting to know everything. And to me, it's part of an excuse. But at the second time, it's also like, you're trying to be perfect, and that's going to hold you back as well. As long as you pass the exam with the 70, you're good. So we've seen a lot of guys just pass by the skin of their teeth. Really, that's it. But hey, if they pass, no employer is gonna ask you what your scores are, or like how well you did. It's not something they use to judge your character. As long as you get your A&P, that's all they care about. They care about other things. So, um, so don't think too much into it. There's no valedictorians, not that I know of. Maybe community colleges, but prep school, there's no valedictorians. And if you do it yourself, there's no valedictorians either, right? Just yourself. So those are my tips with the study material. So a little recap is use ASA. That's good. Sky Prep was pretty good for us, but we really use ASA the most. Airman Test is really good as well. But I also have a piece of paper where you document your progress. It's gonna help you be more efficient and build the confidence so you can be like, oh, I'm progressing. You're right. So you had that momentum going into the test. Do the general airframe and power plant exams in that order. We played around with it. We played around with it different ways, and that seems to work out the most. And then recognizing questions and answers. Really, like you're going to get yourself caught up too much where you're gonna hinder yourself a bit. So don't do that to yourself. Just if you're doing a prep, question and answers. That's it. That's all you studying. Ignore the track. Ignore all the distractions out there, because it's gonna slow you down. All right. That's it for the day. Those are my tips on when it comes to study guides on the written exams. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, A&P. Reaching me out to my LinkedIn is gonna be the best way to get a hold of me. Let's crush it. I'm here to help you attain your A&P and get an awesome gig on the outside. That's why I started Military Maintainers. That's why I started Code One Maintenance, to help you guys. I don't care what anybody says of, some of my mistakes I've done in the past. They're mistakes. But I'm still going because my mission is my passion is to help you guys get your A&P, get an awesome job, and this is the way after my post-military still could be connected with you all to help you out, do my little part in the military maintainers world, and because they don't do enough growing the awareness of the great opportunities that you can have with your A&P. And it doesn't even have to be aviation. It can be something else. It can be like fixing elevators. They have a steady job, steady schedule, so there's nothing crazy. And with A&P, you can go pretty far. Go pretty far with it. I've seen good guys get good gigs, and I want to see y'all succeed. I want to see y'all excel and most of the guys who come to my course, that's the case. That's how they operate. So I love to see that. I see that the guys do their because so many guys get out and they don't even, they don't stay in, or they don't get their A&Ps. So my mission is to turn it around. And there's also a need in aviation on the civilian side. They're looking for maintainers. So I want to be part of that solution as well. It's like, here's a problem and here's a problem. Put them together, that's the solution. And that's my mission. That's my mission, to help you guys out. And that's how it's been since day one. And, through the ups and downs, we're working itself out to where we can help you guys still attain. It can be done, free. It's on our website if you would like to see it. And if you have any questions, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Jose Zaragoza. That's my thing. Or you can just, message me here on Facebook, Military Maintainers. Let's go. And if you know somebody that needs help with their A&P and get started, I'm here to help. It can be as simple as getting started from step one, or through their exams. No homo. I wish I can get rid of that word, but that's the way y'all know what I'm talking about. So pulling chalks. I hope this was helpful, and just get my AMP. Yeah, the Kozo Shan. Okay, right in the nick of time, right when I was about to pull chalks. Right, so good. So getting your 8610, right? Getting your 8610 is calling your local FSDO, Flight Standard District Office. I don't know how long you've been in, but the minimum practical experience is going to be 30 months. 30 months of practical experience. If you're pursuing the A, airframe, and P, power plant, minimum 30 months. If you're pursuing one of them, then it's going to be 18 months. Okay? So, highly recommend, if you have that, you check those boxes off, give them a call. I would Google FAA FSDO, Flight Standard District Office. Contact them and tell them, hey, I'm in the military 15 years. I worked on F-16s. I want to pursue my AMP. How do I go about that? What do you need from me? And that's it. Short and sweet email. And just follows the instructions. He's going to give you the instructions, what he wants, how he wants it, and when you're going to get set up an appointment. Online course, it could be from $47 a month to $800, just how you want it. And it takes a conversation to have to see what is the best course of action for you. Everybody's different. Everybody's experience is different. So jumping online with you, having a conversation with you, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's have a conversation, and we can make a plan from getting your tickets all the way to getting your AMP. All right. So our first class is coming out February 12th. And with that, sign up AMP. This is where we're going to be having like structured classes right here in front of you, and lectures, and just any questions you may have, and keep you accountable. Super important. Make sure you're on the right track. So it gives you some structure instead of trying to do it yourself type of deal. But that's it, guys. Thank you, Kozo, for the great questions. Pulling chalks now. I already got it. I'm sorry. You just got your 8610-2. It's awesome. Yeah, man. You just ready to start taking tests, start studying, join our school program. School, SKOOL.com/military-maintainers. Join it. There's free study guide material there from your writtens and your practicals. Your oral questions. And we're gonna start doing it, here February 12th, where it's structured. You get to meet our awesome, funny ass Wilhelm. And it's a great time. All right. Peace. Hopefully that was helpful. Reach out to me. School.com/military-maintainers. So you get the school spelling correct. SKOOL.com/ just like you did right there earlier, military-maintainers. Sorry. What's funny, a lot of people don't know is that English wasn't my first language. And then because my dad didn't like us speaking English at the time. He was learning at the time. It's just, ego, I guess. But anyways, then I went to school, and the school didn't like us speaking Spanish. So it's like I had a code what is it called? Code flip, code switch, or something like that. Kind of funny. And then I got in the military, and there's nobody that speaks Spanish, so I had to learn Spanish all over again. But anyways, I don't know where I was going with that, but that was funny. Oh yeah, I was saying that. Sorry, my English is not my first language. It's probably not the best. Thank you, and have a good night. Take care. I see you in school.